Hey, Stewart's Chapel, Don Pierson here, and this is Saturday's devotion. And we're again here at the church's office. It's a very dark and dreary, rainy, storming evening. I want to look at Psalm 16, verse 11, and then over to Psalms 30. As you have noticed over the last few days, my attention has been drawn to the Psalms. In fact, I pretty much have decided that when we finish the story sharing, I'm going to walk you through a section of Ephesians, and then I will move us to Psalms, and we will walk through Psalms, which will probably take us, well, there's 150 Psalms, so it'll probably take us at least 150 days, okay? So Psalms 16, verse 11. You will show me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore. And then Psalms 30, verses 4, Psalms 30, verses 4 and 5. Sing praise to the Lord, you saints of his, and give thanks at the remembrance of his holy name. For his anger is but for a moment, his favor is for life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Both of these passages and many other passages in Psalm deal with how God takes a dry period, a dark period in our life, and joy comes in the morning. He brings joy. I thought about the happy moments. I even asked my wife and children to give me some of the moments that are frozen in time of great joy for them. And it's a long list. And so I'm just going to rapidly take you through them. Popcorn contests. When my children were little, we were poor. We really were, and we struggled. But one of the things we were able to do was have popcorn. People would give us these large cans of popcorn, and we would popcorn, and it became a family ritual. Not every night, but at least 3 or 4 times a week. And in the oil, I would pour the popcorn, and in that old pot that we used to cook, was a pressure cooker actually we used to make popcorn in. I would draw 4 squares, literally take something to draw 4 squares, and we would divide the bottom of the pan up into 4 squares. Each of us would take one. I would take a square, my wife would take one, my daughter, and my son. And the contest was to see which square that you had chosen, the popcorn popped first. And that person was the winner and got an extra treat for that. And so that was fun. I remember we enjoyed doing that. My kids mentioned that. My kids love going to the river and swimming in Belize, that river that the cholera came down. They swam, and it was the same river that the women washed their clothes in. And while my kids were swinging from these humongous jungle trees out into this deep river along the shore were the women washing their clothes and bathing. Sour sap ice cream. You don't even know what sour sap is. Those of you who've been to Belize know what sour sap is. Sour sap is a beautiful fruit. It's an ugly on the outside, but inside it's white and creamy, and it makes the very best ice cream. Now, craboo. Now, some of you from Belize are listening. You like craboo, but I think craboo is the most disgusting fruit around. Little bitty yellowish thing. It would ferment in a second. Fry Jacks. Fry Jacks was Gary Williams' one of his favorite food in Belize. Belizean meat pies. And those of you that listened from my years when I was a minister in North Carolina will remember that one of my favorite things to do, I've never done it since then, I don't know why, I would bring in these large 10 to 14 foot gutters, and we would make one giant ice cream sundae, and everybody would get a spoon, and nobody would accept that today, eating out of the same gutter. But sometimes we did that. Most time they were to dip it out and put it in a cup bowl. But we make this giant ice cream sundae, and what memories. My kids still remember that. Fresh plantains, apple bananas, chocolate covered bananas, eating gibnut. You know what a gibnut is? It's called the royal rat in Belize. Gibnut or tepesquente in Spanish. It's a giant guinea pig. Very, very good to eat. Eating armadillo. Yeah, nobody here in America believes you can eat armadillo. Eating armadillo. Eating iguana. No, you're not supposed to, but they didn't know that. Conch. Never liked conch. Corn soup. Never liked corn soup. Caldo. I like caldo. I like boil up. Pigtails. Eating on those little pigtails. That's one of the favorite part of a hog, my people. Find a pigtail. Eat it. It's got to be boiled really good. Very tender. Hamburgers at Chinese restaurant. You know what you get at a real Chinese restaurant overseas if you order a hamburger? You get a ham sandwich. Yeah, I know. Very disappointing when it comes out. Making chocolate donuts. I did that when I was a kid with my mom and dad. Taught that tradition to my kids. I now do it with my grandkids. And now we do it with my great-grandchild, making donuts. My kids remembered making cookies with great-grandma. Costa Rica, going to the market. Incredible market, miles of long, of everything you can imagine, fruit and vegetables, just on and on. And every Saturday we would have to make our grocery store visit, which was the open market, and buy our fruits and vegetables. In Belize, the Mennonites brought them on a horse-drawn wagon right to our door. Beach trips. Oh man, we went to the beach in Costa Rica and Belize so many times with the kids. One of our favorite memories my kids had was the 4th of July, the first 4th of July in a foreign country. It was at the U.S. Embassy in Costa Rica, invited all Americans there, and we traveled there, and I mean the grounds was just covered up, and it was the most incredible experience. They fed us food, everything. I mean, it was an incredible experience. My daughter remembered babysitting for the other missionary kids. Job shadowing. She worked at a Mayan ruin one whole summer as a guide, helping work there. One of my favorite memories was seeing, and still is seeing people saved, watching them grow, watching them become strong and faithful. That still brings me joy. Always hope it will. In the midst of our dryness, if you'll take the time, you will find that in your life, God has saturated your life with moments that He has frozen in time, where His joy and His mercies have been abundant to you. They're hard to see in the dark periods of time. But one of the promises of God in these two passages is that joy comes in the morning. Love you, Steers Chapel.